You fall into the trap of judging yourself based off external standards. Now you're feeling inadequate and begin to self-sabotage. Hi everyone, welcome to Nurture Her if you're new here, and welcome back to the mini self-reinvention series if you are not. In this series, we're going over 6 things you need to do in order to reinvent yourself in under a year. Today, we're going to be talking about what shifts you need to make in order to strengthen your self-love foundation. In the intro to the series, I mentioned how hard it is to reinvent yourself when you lack self-love, because you might not know how to set boundaries so you can prioritize your goals, or you're used to seeking other people's opinions and it's holding you back. That's why it's mandatory for you to strengthen your self-love foundation. In this video, we'll be going over what self-love is and is not, why it's so important on your self-reinvention journey, some reasons why so many women lack self-love, tips and tricks to master self-love, aka the 7 shifts, the reality of self-love, and lastly, we'll finish off with some homework, aka action steps, so you get the most out of this video. But before we get into that, I'm gonna give you a couple seconds to subscribe. Coo. So what is self-love and what is it not? Self-love is the process of cultivating a deep sense of acceptance, compassion, and kindness for yourself, which will help you overcome things like limiting beliefs, negative self-talk, and self-sabotage. Through self-love, you're able to build resilience, self-confidence. You'll also be able to comfortably prioritize your needs and desires. Self-love is not only for certain people, and it's not selfish either. Every single one of you watching this video is deserving of self-love regardless of your background, appearance, life circumstances. Self-love is not limited to a certain group of people. And despite the reactions you do get when you do prioritize your own needs and well-being, it is not this horrendous, selfish thing. It's actually essential for your mental, emotional, and physical health. Think about the last time you overworked yourself. What happened and how did it make you feel? Probably burnt out, mentally and physically exhausted, and you probably had no motivation to do nothing. That's why self-love is so important on your self-reinvention journey. It helps you build a positive relationship with yourself, which is the foundation for all transformation and personal development. When you practice self-love, you're better able to identify your needs, set healthy boundaries, pursue your goals with confidence and self-assurance. Without self-love, you may find yourself stuck in negative patterns, self-sabotage, and self-doubt, which can prevent you from achieving the change you desire. When you prioritize self-love, you are invested in your own well-being and setting yourself up for success in all areas of your life. So before we get into the tips and tricks to help you master self-love, aka the 7 shifts, let's talk about the reasons why most women lack self-love. It's important to note that everyone's experiences are unique, but here are the 6 most common causes. Number 1, society's expectations. Women are often expected to meet certain standards of beauty, behavior, and achievement, which can create pressure to conform, and feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. Let's just say there's a reason why you feel like you can't be yourself. Number 2, childhood experiences. Negative or traumatic experiences in childhood, such as bullying, abuse, neglect, or criticism, can impact self-esteem and lead to a lack of self-love. If you grow up being told you don't matter, you don't fit a certain beauty aesthetic, you are bound to feel like you're not good enough. Number 3, relationship dynamics. Unhealthy or abusive relationships can deter self-esteem and create feelings of unworthiness or self-blame. How many times have you heard of or seen someone in an unhealthy relationship put the blame on themselves, saying it's their fault while they're being disrespected or cheated on? It's quite literally not their fault at all, but they're so conditioned to believing that they deserve abuse and hurt. They think they're flawed. You're not. Number 4, mental health. Depression, anxiety, and trauma can affect self-esteem and self-love tremendously. When someone is experiencing anxiety or depression, it can make it difficult for them to feel confident and secure in themselves. Number 5, life transitions. Major life transitions like a breakup, loss of a loved one, or a job can create feelings of uncertainty and or insecurity. The unknown can also make it difficult for people to feel confident and secure in themselves. And lastly, number 6, lack of self-care. Neglecting self-care needs such as rest, nutrition, and exercise can contribute to feelings of low self-worth and self-neglect. This was the one I struggled with the most in college because I was already neglecting my nutrition, my sleeping habits were poor, I wasn't taking care of myself how I needed to. These habits carried over into the pandemic. It took some focus and dedication to overcome them. Those were the 6 most common causes. Let me know in the comments which one you feel like you relate to the most. So what do you need to master self-love? First, you need to shift your mindset to one that is committed to self-growth, self-awareness, and self-compassion, and the willingness to show up for yourself with kindness, patience, and understanding. These next 7 self-love shifts I'm about to share with you will help you do that. Let's get into it. The first shift you need to make is learning how to say no with confidence. On this journey, there's no room for you to be a yes man, especially because you got shit to do. Saying no allows you to set healthy boundaries so you can prioritize your own goals and values. When you say no to things that don't align with your vision, you free up your time and energy to focus on things that truly matter. And trust me, I know how hard this can be. Start small by saying no to something small. For example, if someone asks you to hang out after school or after work, but you're tired and would rather go home, you can say something like, "Thank you for the invitation, but I'm gonna have to pass. I need some time to recharge." By starting with something as small as this, you can build up your confidence, get more comfortable prioritizing your needs. The next shift you need to make is putting yourself first without the guilt. You have to remember that your needs and well-being is just as important as others, and that putting yourself first is not selfish. For your own health and happiness, give yourself permission to set boundaries and say no when you need to, and don't feel guilty for taking care of yourself. This one was challenging for me because I grew up so used to prioritizing everyone else's needs. I'm the type of person that if I can, I will. But it got to the point where people were so used to it, and when it was time to prioritize myself, they would make me feel bad for choosing myself. And then I got into this whole cycle of people pleasing, and I had to unlearn that and learn to start putting myself first without feeling guilty. One of the things I did to help me get started with this was scheduling in me time every day. Sometimes I could only get in 10 minutes. Other times I'd take the whole night to myself. But by making me time non-negotiable, I was showing myself and the people around me that my needs are important and deserve to be prioritized. The next shift you need to make is being mindful of your thoughts. This was a priority of mine because I realized our thoughts shape our beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors, which in turn determines our reality. Your thoughts have a powerful influence over your emotions and behaviors, and they can either propel you forward towards your goals or hold you back from achieving them. By becoming more aware of your thoughts, you can identify any negative or limiting beliefs and replace them with more powerful ones. If you don't believe you can make change, you won't. So you have to be intentional about what thoughts are passing through on a daily. Whenever you notice a negative thought, take a moment, pause, and reframe it in a more positive light. For example, in challenging moments, if you find yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," try reframing that thought into something like, "I'm doing the best I can and that's enough." AKA, reframe your negative thoughts into positive affirmation. The next shift you need to make is turning inward instead of seeking external validation. I touched on this a little bit in the beginning of the video, but seeking external validation can prevent you from living an authentic life. When you constantly seek approval and validation from others, you give away your power and allow external factors to dictate your sense of self-worth and happiness. In my experience, this can lead to a never-ending cycle of people-pleasing, self-doubt, and anxiety, which can hold you back from pursuing your true passions and goals. By letting go of the need of external validation, you're free to follow your own path and make your own decisions. To practice turning inward, start with self-reflection with journaling. In moments of turning to outside people for their opinions, ask yourself questions like, what do I need right now? And what would make me happy? To help you connect with your own needs and desires. The next shift you need to make is learning how to stop comparing yourself to others, because all you're doing is undermining your confidence and preventing yourself from achieving your full potential. When you compare yourself to others, you fall into the trap of judging yourself based off external standards that might not be relevant or meaningful to your goals. Now you're feeling inadequate and begin to self-sabotage, which is holding you back from pursuing your dreams and living a life that is fulfilling and meaningful for you. Make a list of all your positive attributes, and when you find yourself comparing yourself to others, look at this list and remind yourself of all these qualities that make you unique and valuable. You are your only competition. The next shift you need to make is being more gentle with yourself. Every experience in our lives has shown us that change is a process and it takes time and patience. Having self-compassion and being gentle with yourself is how you navigate the ups and downs of personal growth. You are going to encounter obstacles, setbacks, and challenges that will trigger feelings of self-doubt and frustration, but it's important to treat yourself how you would treat a friend in moments of difficulty. These feelings that come up are a natural part of the process, so it's okay to take a step back, rest, and recharge when you need to. By being gentle with yourself, you allow yourself the space and time to learn and grow. The next and final shift you need to make is doing things that feed your soul. This is an essential part of your personal growth, happiness, and well-being. When you engage in activities that resonate with your deepest desires, passions, and interests, you tap into a source of energy and inspiration that can fuel your transformation. Start by making a list of all the activities you enjoy doing, and then scheduling time weekly to engage in at least one of them. By doing things that feed your soul, you create a sense of meaning and fulfillment, which will bring you joy and satisfaction in your everyday life. So these are the 7 shifts. If you want more tips for any of them, let me know in the comments. So, the truth about self-love. It's not as cookie cutter as we all hope and wish it to be. The reality is, it's not a one-time achievement, and it damn sure ain't easy. While self-love is beneficial, it is not always easy to practice. It can be challenging to confront and heal underlying insecurities, limiting beliefs, and negative self-talk. It takes consistent effort and practice to cultivate self-love. It's also important to note that self-love is an ongoing process that requires continuous practice and attention. You will have to put in some effort, commitment, and consistency, but you'll look back one day thankful that you showed up for yourself. Now, let's talk homework, aka action steps, to really help you get the most out of this video. I'm a journal prop girly. I believe there's nothing I can't figure out when I write it out. So I'm going to share some of the prompts I use to increase my self-love and get to the root cause of my lack thereof. There were 10 prompts total, but for the sake of time, I'm only going to share 5. But all 10 of them with examples will be posted on my IG, so make sure you follow me on there for additional tips and resources. And if you're not on Instagram right now, let me know in the comments, because I could probably make like a Discord or something. Prompt number 1. What are some things I appreciate about myself? Why are these traits or qualities important to me? Prompt number 2. What are some limiting beliefs I have about myself? Where do they come from, and are they true? Prompt number 3. What are some situations or experiences that have made me feel insecure or unworthy in the past? How can I reframe these experiences to see them in a more positive light? Prompt number 4. What are some things I'm more proud of accomplishing? And how have these accomplishments contributed to my sense of self-worth? And lastly, prompt number 5. What are some patterns or habits that I have that don't align with my values? How can all of these habits go and cultivate more positive and supportive habits instead? The second part of your homework is to start implementing the tips in the 7 shifts section of this video. For example, starting small by saying no to something minor and scheduling in me time to put yourself first without guilt. There's a tip for each shift, so go back and take some notes if you need to. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a great time talking about this because self-love is something I'm so passionate about, because I really believe you cannot make any transformations without strengthening this foundation first. To keep up with all the videos in this self-reinvention mini-series, check the description. I'll have the playlist linked there, and the next video will be all about self-care. Make sure you subscribe and turn on that bell because you don't want to miss these tips. I'll see you in the next one.